Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you guys an update to my Performapal deck profile for July 2017. With the release of the new Battle of Legends Light Revenge booster pack, I was able to update the Performapal deck with all the new support, and it's really fun because most of the fact is you can get out all of the four dragons from Arc V using Performapals with the new Performapal tuner we received and the new fusion options as well. I know it was easy to get Dark Rebellion and Odd Eyes out, but making Clearwing and Starving Venom in this deck as well just really gets off some crazy plays, and with the new Odd Eyes Venom Dragon as well being an option, I thought I'd bring you guys the deck profile. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Keeping with the tradition of standard Performapals, I run 3 Skullcrobat Joker. He's just too good for your searches based on the fact that when he's normal summon he gets to add basically anything you need to set up your combos for that turn. He's also a scale 8, which is probably the most relevant scale we have, aside from the fact that you can go up to 12 now also with this deck. But that is very situational, and we'll get to that later on. And 3 Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer. Once again, it's search power with the pendulum effect, destruction with its own pendulum summon effect, being able to reset your scales to maybe what you need for certain situations. Like, for example, the new tuner pendulum Performapal monster we got has a pretty cool scale effect, but most of the time, since his scale is 6, you don't want to have him in your scale. You want to use him for his effects, and then if you want to get rid of him later or already set up your pendulum plays and then set him to use his plays, Pendulum Sorcerer just really helps with those situations. Also, 3 second donkey. Once again, just more search. This is the one thing that makes this deck powerful. The fact that you can search for basically anything you need for your deck. It makes it running one of each of a lot of cards playable because you can grab what you need for that situation. And second donkey, all you have to do is have 2 pendulum scales. You can easily get this card off. Another thing with this deck, I know that link summoning is going to really limit this deck, but I wanted to play this deck at most potential for the plays while I still can, which is why I'm bringing you guys this deck profile. Also, I run 2 Performapal Yugioh Golem. It is your, excuse me, scale 1 of the deck, and its effect is once per turn, if a monster is fusion summoned to your field except during the damage step, you can add 1 Performapal, Odd Eyes, or Magician Pendulum monster from your graveyard or face up in your extra deck to your hand. So the recycling effect is nice, and he also has a fusion effect when he is Pendulum summoned by summoning 1 from your extra deck using cards you control and Dragon type monsters you control as fusion material. So just more fusion option, which you do have a lot of fusion monsters in this deck, so that card really does help. And getting to some of the newer cards, I run 2 Performapal Odd Eyes Synchron. Now, a lot of the new Performapals also have Odd Eyes in their name with Sky Iris, meaning you have an additional search for these cards. You can grab what you need for, let's say, your Dark Rebellion plays, your Clearwing plays using this card, or even your Starving Venom plays, and they're all dark monsters as well, meaning if you have the 2 dark monsters on the field, that's the requirements for the Starving Venom Dragon, which you can easily get out just with a quick pendulum summon of those cards as well, and a fusion card. But his pendulum effect is once per turn, you can target 1 Performapal or Odd Eyes monster you control. This turn, that face-up monster is treated as a tuner, and also its level becomes 1, even if this card leaves the field. So having a level 1 with your new monsters on the field makes it very adjustable for what you want to make. And his monster effect is if this card is special summoned from the extra deck and used as a Synchron material, banish it. When this card is normal summoned, you can target 1 level 3 or lower Performapal, Odd Eyes, or monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated. And once per turn, you can target 1 card in your pendulum zone, special summon it, but it has its effects negated. And if you do immediately after this effect resolves, special summon 1 synchro monster using that monster in this card. So I love it for the last effect because you can set cards in your pendulum scale like Daggerman, Odd Eyes Phoenix, and go for basically level 7 Clearwing Synchro Dragon right then and there with this. It is the spellcaster, and I'll probably use it mostly for that monster effect more than anything else, just because it's a quick special summon from the pendulum scale. You can easily set that card on the scale, normal summon this, use that effect, and then get off your Clearwing. Also, 2 Performapal Odd Eyes Minotaurus. I like this card, not so much for the effect, but more for the fact that it is a level 4 Odd Eyes Performapal, meaning it is searchable off of the Sky Iris, just like Odd Eye Synchron was. It has the Performapal name, so it's searchable in that variant. And even if you do set it in the pendulum scale, it has a piercing effect for your Performapal and Odd Eyes monsters. And during the damage calc, it can make your opponent's monsters lose attack based on how many Performapal and Odd Eyes cards you control. And also I run one Performapal Odd Eyes Dissolver. It's a fusion effect in the Pendulum scale, which is the one main reason I run this card. And at the start of your damage step, if you Pendulum monster battles an opponent's monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, your monster cannot be destroyed by battle. You can also use this effect, Odd Eyes Dissolver, once per turn. During your main phase, you can fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using this card you control as a fusion material, as well as other monsters. So it's just another fusion option with a pretty easy special summon effect that I like to get off as well. And this is the one card that, like I said, I'm just trying it out, and I probably am going to take it out once basically link summoning becomes a thing, just because of the pendulum effect of you cannot pendulum summon except from the extra deck. That would completely lock down this deck, and like I said, it's mostly just a fun option. If I were to take it out, I would probably add in another Odd Eyes Phoenix, and like I said, once link summoning becomes around, it's definitely going to be a guarantee. The only reason I kept it in here is for the level 12 option to pendulum summon back your pendulum mix cards, including Odd Eyes Venom Dragon, Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon, those monsters. But like I said, that play will soon become impossible, or at least extremely difficult when, you know, the new format takes off. But other than that, it has the effect of, you know, you race to set cards with your opponent to gain effect negation effects, or, you know, the attack of all monsters on the field becomes double their original attack. So it's just a set race game, which I also thought, you know, sticking to the anime terms, was pretty cool to see, but once again, extremely difficult in sense of a lot of things. And limiting yourself from pendulum summoning from the hand is also pretty bad. It's a, you know, last minute resolve kind of thing if you only can do that. But other than that, just the one of. And I also run one Odd Eyes Light Phoenix. It is the basically the Odd Eyes that I can search for, another level 5 option. He's one of my main targets that I go for with Odd Eyes Synchron because he is pretty searchable. I even run the one Gum Gum Mutton, and I'm thinking of taking it out for a second Odd Eyes Light. The only reason I like Gum Gum Mutton is just for the lower scale, but I don't run too many, you know, 2s and 3s, if any, at all in the deck, so that's not really a big worry since this pretty much handles all I need for my special summons. And also one Performapal Daggerman is the final level 5 monster that I run in the deck, just to keep my clear wing options open. That's what I want to do with this deck, is get that playoff. And he has a pretty good scale and pretty good effect as well. If it was pendulum summoned, I can send one Performapal monster from my hand to the graveyard to draw a card. And the scale effect is lets me target a Performapal in my graveyard, add to your hand if it was activated this turn. So once again, recycle and draw power. And one Odd Eyes Unicorn, basically the final of the one-ofs for the deck of the Performapals. Another scale that's high searchable with Sky Iris and the Performapal effect as well. There's just so much search in this deck that I love it, and I have more options with Sky Iris now, which makes it my #1 card for search in the deck after Skullcrobat and Pendulum Sorcerer. And then to wrap up the monsters, obviously 3 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, the easiest of the 4 dragons to summon with this deck. He's searchable with most of the Performapal decks cards. He was included in a lot of the card text as well, and he has his own searchability as well that's even more broad than some of the Performapals. And that is it for the monsters in the deck. We will now move on to the spells. I run one Odd Eyes Fusion. Now this card is also searchable, like for the 20th time I said in this video, with Sky Iris. And what I like about this card is he can actually make the boss monster of the deck Odd Eyes Venom Dragon, because this card requires 1 Starving Venom monster and 1 Odd Eyes monster. And if you don't control any monsters, you get to use the cards from your extra deck. So just send Starving Venom and a card with Odd Eyes and its card name, and you have Odd Eyes Venom just like that. It's a crazy play that you can do with just 1 card to get out this beast of a monster. And also 2 fusion substitutes, just the additional option for fusion summoning, and it has the recycle effect to add monsters back to the extra deck. There's actually been a situation where I fused into Starving Venom and then I shuffled it back into the extra deck to draw a card. I drew Odd Eyes Fusion, then used Odd Eyes Fusion because the Starving Venom was gone, and then resent it back to make the fusion with the Odd Eyes Venom. It was pretty crazy just using this card. But if you want to run 1 polymerization and 1 fusion substitute, you can even do that. If you just have those situations where you might want to use cards in your hand. And then getting to the card that I talk so much about in this deck profile, 3 Sky Iris. It's searchable, it protects your pendulum scales, and you can also pretty much add whatever you need in the situation now, thanks to the new Odd Eyes Performapal Synchro monsters that we got. Odd Eyes Performapal Synchro monsters, I looked at Synchron when I said that. But a field spell, searchable, because I also run 2 terraforming, so pretty standard there with this card's plays. And keeping with a lot of my Performapal decks, 3 Performance Hurricanes. If you get your play off and then play this and have plenty of Performapals to use, you could bounce back a lot of your opponent's important resources using this. And 2 Bubble Barrier, just for extra protection if you want to protect your weak monsters, because there are sometimes I had those one-of turns where I would, just wish I had that monster still, and I didn't, but Bubble Barrier helps, and also protects me because a lot of them have low attack, and that just protects me with the damage as well. And then for traps, I run 1 Performapal Pinch Helper, just for the special summon effect and the damage negation effect as well with this card for that battle. And then 1 Bottomless Trap Hole and 1 Solemn Warning to end the trap lineup. It's a small trap lineup because I want to stay true to most of my combo plays that I can do with the deck. And now moving on to the extra deck, I run 1 Odd Eyes Venom Dragon. The effect is once per turn, you can target 1 fusion monster you control. It gains 1,000 attack for each monster your opponent controls to the end of the turn. And it must be fusion summoned and then can be pendulum summoned. Once per turn, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Until the end phase, this card gains attack equal to its attack, and then if it does, this card's name becomes the monster's original name and replace this effect with that monster's original effects. If this card in your monster zone is destroyed, you can special summon 1 monster from your pendulum zone. If you do, place this card in the pendulum zone. So this card's effect actually solved the problem that Odd Eyes Rebellion and Nirvana High Paladin were having with their own effects. If your scale was full, you couldn't put the monster in the scale, but this card actually special summons one and makes room for it to have its additional effect that if you have other fusion monsters on the field, you can bump them up pretty high. And also 1 Odd Eyes Rebellion. I keep him, the Exceed effect plays don't go off as much with this guy, but he is an option to use with the Odd Eyes Fusion for Odd Eyes Venom Dragon. And 1 Starving Venom. I love when I get all the dragons off in this game. It's a lot of fun. Starving Venom is one of them. Also Odd Eyes Vortex, Beast Eyes with the second donkeys, 2 Performapal Gatling Ghouls, still a very powerful 2,900 attack point monster and easy to make using Odd Eyes and your Performapal monsters. And then for Exceeds, 1 Silent Under Arc, 1 Gaga Cowboy, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Castel the Sky Blaster Musketeer, 1 Trapeze Magician, and obviously Dark Rebellion, Xyz Dragon as the Xyz Arc V Dragon. And then for my Synchro monsters, I run 1 Clearwing Synchro Dragon, just because, like I said, he's the easiest one that I can make most of the time with the new Synchron tuner, and 1 Metaphys Horus takes the 2nd place for that Synchro effect with the level 4 monsters. And he also has a Pendulum effect when I do use Pendulum monsters. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Once again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Twig out.